That just booted. Jeff, I'm starting it up again. Oh my gosh. Really?
Why do they have to boot you off?
Because they censor.
What's a sensor?
It just kicked us off, right? There we go. Okay, we'll just bounce right back. Wow. You know, hey, what can we like talk about at this point? We're not even talking about those crazy topics. You were talking about aftershave cream, okay?
Telling you, they just don't want us
Was
to
that
talk about
able to
anything.
see?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Oh, and so I now have
Aftershave
to.
Mafia.
I know that aftershave mafia, Jeff said. All right. So yeah, sorry. Jump right back on.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, and like the vast array of products that we have, like the pet products, there isn't. I don't think there's a product that they sell that we're not currently that's not in our one of our cabinets somewhere. So
Yeah.
just and always evolving. Like we come up with people asked and they delivered with the gummies. Like people wanted gummies and we got gummies, and especially with a broad spectrum. So just always evolving and adding things.
Yeah, and countries too. So that was the big one, right?
Yeah, they have an entire team dedicated to global expansion, and so we've started to expand. We're becoming popular in the European Union, even Africa. There's a couple big countries that hopefully I have so many people that ask that live in Canada, that live in Australia, and I'm hopeful. I'm very hopeful, especially for Canada. I know that both of those countries are heavily regulated and controlled, by the pharmaceutical industry, but I have faith that we will get those countries as well. But yeah, we're dedicated to global expansion and bringing this product to anyone and everyone that's interested in it.
Yeah. When would you start worrying? And you know how as soon as the government gets, because the government is going to want a part of this pie.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, the pharmaceuticals going to want a part of this $1 billion pie. And so when would the worry set in for you? Like, what would you be looking out for? Because we know that anything that the government touches, they turn to crap in regards to schooling, all of it.
They've already messed this up. They screw up everything that they try because they already tried to make a CBD. And they screwed it up because even that was it was synthetic on some level, and it ended up hurting people, and they even screwed that up. So, but this seems to be something that we continue to gain more legality with. We signed a new farm bill last year. We're federally legal in every state. I see more states getting legality for products that are illegal in other states right now. So I feel like we're gaining more momentum with it to where the worries are getting less for me.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Cause that was always, I go, well, I'm sure I saw articles like they were trying to make their own so currently then it's legal in America from what
Yes.
perfectly legal, ships in every state.
Yep.
Yep. Okay.
You can travel with it now, I believe, according to the TSA, as long as it's within the guidelines. So,
I had it in my bag when we went to convention. Yep. No issues.
Okay, Carmen's on dosage is a big question, and without just being like, well, you gotta do what works for you. How do you address dosage? Because
Yeah. So, and the nice thing with our product, they added this, I don't know how many months back, but you have the dosage on the dropper. So you can see, a quarter of a milliliter, a half milliliter, a full milliliter, which is a full serving. You can see the dosage right on the dropper. It's like anything. It's like, I tell people, no matter what you're taking, nothing is a sprint. It's, it's almost like a marathon. So you don't need to take a whole dropper right out of the gate, even though I have no problem saying, you're not going to see anything negative. There's no side effects with CBD, but you can what's a week at 5 drops going to hurt? Then another week at 10 drops. And then, you can go from there and 15, and then you're essentially at the full milliliter. And there's 50 full servings in each bottle. So, I mean, you're getting quite a bit for what you're spending as well. But I just tell people to start at 5 and kind of go from there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Sounds good. No, we work with the same one. He's asking. we're with the same company. It's all with HempWorks. So Chris is our upline, and so also for the affiliates that are on the chat that have been interested in doing Zoom calls, Chris is so kindly willing to take some time, even next week, so we could do some group chats that are separate off Instagram, where he's just such a world of knowledge here. So he'd be willing to
Absolutely
do that. So we're grateful. We're definitely grateful. Sorry, were you?
No. Yeah, no, everything was good on that.
Okay. Yeah.
And honestly, I mean, just to go back to the MLM, not to backtrack too much, but I mean, I know there's that negative stigma, but honestly, that's really the smart way to do business now. You're not paying for these huge advertisements. You can put the money back into the people. And it's people that are, like we said, they're using the product. They love the product. They're their own walking testimonials, you know? So and you can work remotely. You don't have to drive, wait in traffic and clock into some 9 to 5 or, you know, work 12 to 14 hours, which is what I was doing prior to this for a good company. And I'd much rather work at home, like, and put in the extra.
So from a business standpoint, it makes so much more sense than having a storefront. Like I've seen 2 businesses in town. I mean, there's more than 2, but there's one, they have a store, and I always want to like walk in there and just be like, you know, how much are you guys paying for rent to rent out this store every month? And then I see there was somebody in the mall and she has her little
kiosk.
Kiosk kind of set up, and it's like, I talked to her and it's like, she's there, you know, 10, 12 hours a day. And it's like, you don't need to do that, but there's just a better way. Working from home is, you know, I tell people it really has little to do with money and everything to do with time and personal freedom. In online business and MLM, like, you're building your personal freedom. And I've worked, I mean, you know, you just mentioned the hours that you put in. I worked a 9 to 5. I worked it for enough years to know that the 9 to 5, that's the pyramid scheme, because you're stuck at the bottom. They give you a raise every so often, but if you have a boss and they have a boss and a supervisor and all up to the CEO, the higher you climb, the more money they make. So the pyramid scheme is corporate America, and that's the real scam. And they're not looking out, you know, the corporate world, they don't look out for your health. They don't care about you at all. They'll have you working 60 hours a week. They'll have you lose your marriage or relationship over your job. You won't see your kids. You know, you'll lose your health stressing out about deadlines or whatever tasks you have to accomplish. So moving towards personal freedom is what you should be looking towards, and an online business is exactly how you do that. And so when I finally accepted that, okay, I need to use this CBD product, and then I was like, oh, this is a heck of a business model. We have a product that everybody can use that sticks it to big pharma. So you're helping people get away from big pharma and at the same time building your own personal freedom. It is a win across the board to be in the CBD industry, to join a company with a great business model and to build that personal freedom and get away from the true scam, which is the 9 to 5.
Yeah, I love that. You're always talking about, you know, exiting the matrix. And can you briefly go over, like, you know, I know that's probably like a loaded question, but when you say the matrix and how to just, because I do speak a lot on financial freedom over here too, and I think that's gold.
Yeah. It's a huge goal, and I wrote a whole post on, people will give me like flack about this. Like, I only want to hear about like these topics. And I'm like, how do you not want to hear about how to build financial freedom? Like, I could run a page that was just about, like, if I had the time to do it, and it would be like a widely successful page. But I put all that information on my page because I want to give it to the people that can do something with it, that are in our movement, not just like people that are out there popping pills, giving vaccines, you know, eating whatever. Like, so I don't run that page. I keep everything on my page. And like, it is something that is extremely important to me. More so, even sometimes I feel like more so than providing the information that I normally present, because if you want to really help someone, you give them some personal freedom, get them out of that job and out of that 9 to 5, and let them stay at home 24/7 with their family, and see how much that changes their life.
Right.
And this business has
Done that.
done that. Like, to see people, you know, people message me about, now I'm not working, I quit my job, I do this like full time like that. that's what it's about. And yeah, exiting the matrix. If you're not building, working towards financial freedom, building several streams of income from wherever those sources are, like you're missing out. And especially now with the opportunity that we can reach people online. So an online business is an unbelievable way to start bringing in those streams and that income and to build that freedom and exit the matrix.
Yeah. And for me, it was really, you know, when Chris approached me, I was like, well, yeah, I've got a private account, and there's a lot of other companies that did not want to work with me at all, even in regards to like just getting a percentage off on whatever it was, like a product that I liked of theirs because of what I talked about, you know? So just going back to that again, that this is just their pro medical freedom, and, you know, so yeah.
Yeah, and that was huge. Like I don't have to explain myself like at all. No one's coming to me being like, well, I think you should tone this down or not post about that. I'm like, I go on Jenna's page and she's got a post up about vaccines. So yeah. I know that I found the right place as far as like my online businesses go. But
yeah, and although FDA compliance is such a headache, you know, it's a good thing that they're at least trying to monitor in a way that will keep the company afloat and in business, because there's a lot of these CBD businesses, they shut down within a year or two because they're not staying compliant, you know?
Right.
So
and
thorn in my side.
Right. And our company invests so much money into doing things the right way. Like just the CO2 extraction, that shows right there that it's the most expensive extraction method. So rather than use some cheap like ethanol to be a solvent in the product and then end up, you know, having being in the final product, they spend the money to use the most expensive extraction method. They are continuously hiring people to build a compliance team to make sure that we're not going to make claims that we can't make or get ourselves in trouble. And you're right. I see people every day and they're like, my product is doing this and doing that. And it's like, no, it's not. No. Like you don't need to lie to people. Like the facts are there as far as how CBD can help, how your body has this system. And like I said, if you want the information, I don't need to tell you at all. There's literally go on whatever search engine and fill in the blank with CBD and you will find yourself. You'll come back to me with the research right there. They'll hand it to you because it's so widely available now on what CBD can do. So, but I love that our company puts that out there, that they have a whole team dedicated to compliance.
Yeah. And like you said, a lot of the purchases are just the retail customers. Same with like the TRS, you know, the detox. Chris also does the detox thing. And, you know, that combo, actually, we could talk a little bit about that power combo of detoxing alongside CBD, because you're kind of the one that brought that forth.
And TRS was the product that I broke through that wall of network marketing with, because I loved it so much. And I was like, man, I had it all wrong. But I promoted that product for a year and a half before ever becoming a distributor. Like the book that Talia mentioned at the beginning, So You're Gonna Have a Baby, there's an entire page in the book that told you about that product, because we respected it so much after spending enough time guinea pigging ourselves on every detox method and protocol that we could find before we stumbled upon TRS and started using that and saw some benefits there. So we're like, let's just promote it in the book. And you know, we went a year and a half, and we're like, we could distribute this product.
Yeah, you had no idea that you could be making money, and you were already promoting it. That's so funny. Yeah, and with TRS, same thing. It's like, what, 75% of the sales are retail customers. So it's something like TRS.
At least, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like most of the sales are retail. So you're never forcing anybody to, you know, it's really, with both these products, we've noticed, we've never had to cold call anybody, cold message anybody. It's like we just talk about how, like, the benefits we're noticing, and then people are like asking questions. They're the ones that are coming up to you asking the questions. And with TRS, it's $0 to enroll to distribute, you know. But with HempWorks, what does it take to, if you wanted to distribute? It's $20.
$20 one time, and then, you know, you have a few different entry options, but at minimum it's just a one product purchase. But again, even the business, if people look at the money back guarantee as just the product, like it's essentially the same money back guarantee with your business. If you don't like it, if it's not for you, then just return the products and get your refund. But the opportunity is there for both of those products, and I think that people need to at least look at it, especially when these products are helping so many people and just looking at what the opportunity can do for you.
Yeah, TRS is also worlds apart from the other
And
competitors, honestly.
and if you want to start your own business, if you go into a bank and, at minimum, I don't know what a small bit, I mean, I've looked at it. I had a friend that wanted to start a small business, and we needed like a 6-figure loan, and the bank's just like, no, and that's part of the whole idea of the matrix, right? They'll let you go into 6-figure student loan debt, but they won't trust you with a $20,000 loan. Some people, like, they'll let you get all that debt, but they won't trust you with a loan. It's the same thing with a house. They'll let you buy a house 3 times what you can afford because they can just seize it back from you and sell it again. So,
Right.
But they won't trust you with that amount of money. So you need to look at businesses where the risk and the amount that it costs you to join is so low versus what the reward could be. I tell people that's one of the things that people send me. They'd be like, well, I signed up for, even if they started with the one product, like, that's all it cost me. And now I left my job because I made this business, successful. And it's like, you can't find that. You go in, even if you get that loan for 50, 100,000. If the business doesn't work, you're on the hook for that money. Being on the hook for your house. Being on the hook for $70, $200, like, that's nothing. That's for some people, that's their cable bill. And again, if you're like, I can't join this business, I have the money, like, look at where your finances are going. If you're spending X amount on, your cable bill every month, how much money people spend on, things like coffee every day and what that adds up to every month. Like, the money is there to give it a shot, at least.
Yeah. And it's not like you're not getting something in exchange.
Exactly. The transaction is there. You're getting a quality product.
Yeah. We wanted to go with, I think, the director pack. I think that one is like 200, right?
Yeah, the director pack.
But for us, we had our own photography business for over 10 years. Like, we still have it running, but there were years there where we had to spend between $300 to $600 a month for online marketing. It came with running a business, but we didn't really, sometimes it was like what we got back from the online marketing was just terrible. It wasn't even like good leads. And so we understood that there was cost like that versus something like this, you're getting actual product. Like, it's not like you could say, I had to give $100 here and nothing happened.
And I do have to say one other thing too, is that if you start an online business, you have to, buy your website, you have to get your domain, SEO
true.
work, all this stuff. What I like, because I'm not that tech savvy when it comes to that thing, is that they already set that all up for you. And I was so thankful, because I'm like, there's no way that I'm going to be able to either buy or build a website that I would like. And they took care of everything, which was phenomenal.
Yeah, there's like 12 different like web pages, landing pages that they give you. And another thing to note is that HempWorks is just part of a larger company, and they're expanding. Like, Jenna posted last night that they were in like a mastermind session, and that they're coming out with even more products, more brands. Like, they're going to revolutionize like this entire industry.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. It's fascinating. So, well, yeah. Did you have any other questions for Chris? Or I'm trying to see what else came in, because I'm only getting to view like half the comments
I'm sure there's
here.
Tons of questions.
Really quick, what would be the benefits with detoxing and doing CBD while you? Because a lot of the people on here are taking TRS already. What are your?
So TRS, they're a great combo that work together. But so TRS is detoxing the toxic metals. TRS can do some additional things, but I mean, most of what it's doing is getting those toxic metals, the mercury, aluminum, lead, arsenic, barium, cadmium, titanium, if it's in a toxic amount. It's getting those metals out of the body. It does some other things as far as increasing the pH in your body. It can buffer some excess glucose. It does help with gut health a little bit. But its primary goal is to get those metals out of the body, where CBD is hitting all of those receptors to then help bring your body back to homeostasis. There's research out there as far as, again, that if you get a full spectrum and you have that THC that's hitting CB1 receptors in the brain, there is some research out there to show that CBD can help with damage and things that have been done to the brain. Again, though, with vaccines and things of that sort, there's probably always a certain amount of damage that you can't come back from.
Yeah.
But, and again, this is the thing though, if the metals and the toxins in vaccines weren't that way, then why do people get better when they start to get better when they detox from toxic metals?
Exactly.
You know? So, but one of the things that I see with CBD is just overall, it can have that kind of calming effect on the body. You know, it has like the CB1 receptors, it's affecting your thought processes, your cognitive function, your mood. So it can have that effect on people's behaviors, how they view things, trying to find the right words without, you know.
Well, also when you're detoxing, what I've noticed is when you're detoxing, especially with TRS, a lot of people are just any little change, you know, which is good that you're focused on that and what's going on with your body, but they're so zoned in and like psyched out by any little thing that's happening. But I noticed that the people that are taking the CBD alongside the TRS are like just without getting a high, because there's no high, but they're just like kind of relaxed to it.
Yeah.
They're not as on edge.
I think it's just supporting everything, you know,
Yeah.
while you're detoxing.
Yeah. So that matters and that helps. Okay. So, yeah, obviously it's safe to give kids, even a full spectrum is safe to give kids, right?
Yep.
Yeah. For dosage, Nini's on here. The Complete CBD Works page has a lot of information on that with how you would start with kids. It's safe for pets. And yeah, I guess that I don't want to take up too much more of your.
No, you're okay. You got something else we want to discuss?
Gwen Towers. Just kidding.
Oh man, my page has not recovered from me doing that video on Gwen Towers. That was like when the censorship they were like, no more, because all the views on my videos like just tanked after I did that video on Gwen Towers.
Well, because people think that 5G is like the same thing, and you broke it down why it's not. Chris has amazing videos on it. They didn't pull the videos though, right?
Not that I know of, but they do some sneaky things where, you know how like they'll tell you a post violated community standards, so they let you know that they took it down. They don't do that on my page anymore. They just go back and remove them. So like the big one a couple weeks ago, somebody messages me and they're like, hey, you wrote a post on the Gardasil vaccine that had like 20 articles, 20 videos, 50 studies. Like, can you send it to him? Like, boom, you came to the right guy. Like, let me load this up. So I go into my Facebook, I'm looking for it. I've only copied and pasted and reposted this post like 100 times. Every version of it was gone. Just erased. And so I'm getting upset. I'm like, you know, like that post took me like
so long
weeks to put together to hunt down. And then
people
Lauren,
had to have saved it.
Lauren, my girlfriend, is like, oh, I got that saved in a note on my phone. I'm like, oh, thank you. And then I tried to, I sent it to them, and then I tried to repost it, and like 3 or 4 of the links got flagged as violations for community standards. But they were literally YouTube links to a doctor talking. One of them was an article from the Irish Times talking about how Ireland has been so devastated by the Gardasil vaccine. And then they were people's stories about how, like, teenagers' stories, them, you know, being brave enough to get in front of a camera and tell their story about how Gardasil damaged them, and they're flagging those videos as violations of community standards. So pretty obvious what their agenda's up to. But yeah, they just like to remove stuff now that vanishes. So
well, I found out recently, which I don't know if you've heard. Have you heard of the Wayback Machine?
no.
So there's a website called Wayback Machine. And half of our links, remember how around March with the censorship, like half our links don't work anymore? Well, if you put that same link, even in DuckDuckGo, it'll be like page not working, link broken. But if you go on the Wayback Machine and you put in that link, it'll pop up.
Wow.
It's like an archive of all the old links. So kind of interesting. You might be able to find a lot of your old stuff there.
Right. Yeah. I've started to save a lot more stuff, and when I write it, have it saved. And I got some, I mean, I have a book that I've been preparing to release that is going to cause a lot of controversy. It's on 9/11. So I'm a little bit worried when that one kind of hits the market, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah. That's what woke you up to all this. You know, we all have our wake up stories on starting to look into how messed up everything is and how much we were lied to. And you said 9/11 was yours. Chris has amazing videos on 9/11 too. So great. He's just such a great follow. Super informative.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. Because earlier this week we went down the dinosaur thing and it like tripped. And YouTube, oh my gosh, it wouldn't save. It took me like 2 days to finally getting our dinosaur video up on YouTube.
Yeah.
And then people are having issues with it. And so.
What did you conclude on that?
Oh, with the dinosaur thing? I'm going to send you the video and then you let me know what you think.
Yeah, I have some thoughts. You know, there's always topics people message me. They're like, please, like, talk about this, do a live on it. And there's certain ones where I like reserve the right to like keep my thoughts to myself on a few of them. But
well, you know, I offended. I got a lot of like everybody's 12-year-old self got really upset, you know. Yeah. But the way I presented it was like, well, you make up your own mind on this stuff. Here's just some interesting things about what scientists have said, and you make up your mind. Because a lot of it felt like give or take a trillion years, you know. And I was like, well, how do you give or take?
yeah. They take some big leaps and bounds with some of these things. I mean, you get people are going to reject no matter what you talk about. And even the Gwen Tower thing, like so many people just they refuse to accept it, and it's like. I'm like, do you remember when your cell phone worked better 15 years ago when we didn't have any Gs? And now, like no I'm driving around and my phone says 5G and I don't have any service. So, I mean, you can connect the dots there, but.
Yeah. Well, and a lot of people were like shocked to learn that those Gwen towers are being put up by private companies. They're not even being, you know, that was shocking. You brought that up.
Yeah, and I mean, this was years ago, so it was before I did a lot of things public. If I had recorded that phone call between the company, I mean, it would have shocked so many people to hear the way that they talked and how they called me back and knew my name, my address, everything that even though I didn't give them any information, it's like within minutes, a company that installs, you know, towers had all that information. Where did they get the connections? You know, to have that kind of information. So on towers, I'm just trying to think of the right way to present it so that the information gets out there, because there is some information out there that will, without a doubt, get people onto this topic. And big ones are, you know, I have photos. People will be like, well, those are 4G towers. And I said, that's interesting because I can show you my photo album on my computer where those towers were up years before 4G even was a concept, before it was even close to rolling out. And they were already built across the city. It's just, there's a rabbit hole there.
Yeah, it's a grid. It's pretty much a grid setup. The way that you can look at it from above, you know.
Right.
Yeah, that one's. But you know what? In the meantime, how do you get by? How do you get on a day-to-day? You and Lauren, you know, both of you, you're both just so woke to this stuff, and it's like with Jeff and I. Sure. Really, she's amazing. Yeah, if you guys don't follow Lauren either, is she okay with that? With me just mentioning? Yeah. Lauren's on Facebook too. She's a RN, speaks out on this topic, and she's very brave as well.
She's a lot more hopeful than me. I give a lot of credit to her, like changing my attitude and not so trying to be so like doom and gloom and trying to see the good every day. And I feel like I see things every day that we're making ground. I feel really confident that this Vax 2 movie is going to wake people up. It's going to get attention. I really feel like the media might even give it some positive attention, and it's going to do good things. And so I see things every day. You know, Lauren just went through a huge thing with a post that was shared thousands of times and trolls around the clock. And it's like, I had this discussion where they said, these people, though, these troll pages and these misinformation pages, no matter what the topic, like, they're not changing anybody's opinion. They're like the true echo chamber. They're just talking to each other. They're talking to either trolls talking to trolls, or the uninformed people who were already going to get flu shots, or just talking to people who like flu shots. Like, they're not waking anybody up. So the posts that we put out, the videos that we do, the people that we reach, like, we continuously wake more people up that want to exit the matrix, exit these systems of toxicity. And so our numbers just continue to grow. And so the image that I put in my mind that really shifted things was like, you have a scale and you can look at it however you want, good and evil, awake, not awake, you know, informed, uninformed, however you want to see it. And like, the scale used to be really unbalanced. Mm-hmm. And now I see the shift to where the scale begins to balance out, and eventually it will tip the opposite direction in our side, and all of the systems, you know, all of the systems will crumble. I really have to believe that.
Yeah. Do you think that it'll be either our generation or the next that'll pretty much rewrite history?
I hope so. I think it's coming. Like, it feels like we've picked up steam. We went from like a slow walk, you know, to a speed walk to a jog, and maybe now we're entering like that sprint where like and especially with the internet, with Facebook, with these social medias, like they tried to use it to keep tabs on us, and we've flipped it on them to where, you know, we're using it to get information out. That's why they ramp up their censorship, but we do other things. You know, we're still reaching people, and that's why we're speeding up so much faster and getting information out there. Somebody just mentioned Epstein. It's like everybody was talking about that. Even like the most uninformed people, like we're like, wait, there's something not right here. So
we're like, this is not adding up. Yeah, exactly. And I mean, you know, because you're constantly, you get Facebook jailed often too. You shared like one of my favorite memes of the year, which is the Area 51.
Yeah.
You shared like we should raid Area 51 and the Vatican, right, or something like that, so that it could be aliens versus predators.
Yeah, like of all the memes, like that's the one that somebody took offense to. I have a feeling that like all the posts that we make get reported. They're just constantly reported, and then, you know, they take down some of them. Like some of them are bound to what they feel are violations. But
yeah, it's like, it's weird. It's like you want to talk about pedophiles, and those are the posts that like get pulled. You know, who's protecting pedophiles out there? And and I'll end that on you know, yesterday CNN had of course, Mark Zuckerberg is giving a speech on freedom of expression. So
interesting.
Take out a freedom.
Yeah, the Facebook fact checker guy. I was also saying, like, you know, if you're woke and you need a job and you're in Silicon Valley, Facebook is hiring for fact checkers. So if you want to help in the movement in any way, you know, you can go apply there and kind of help out in that way. We need woke people to get some of these jobs of these public health officials that are supposed to like come to your house, and we need them.
It's interesting is that in Austin they have a Google headquarters. And so I'm thinking like a good live video, I'm going to walk in there and start being like, who can I talk to about why you guys are censoring like medical freedom information? Like why if we Google, you know, cancer treatments, vaccines, GMOs, that now we can't find any of the true information on any of your sites. So who can I talk to here that's censoring all this information?
Can you
see how fast I get kicked out of Google? Can
you please? And if you do go live, oh gosh, if you go live, let us know so that we can have multiple people screen recording. You know, because they will just try to shut it down. I know. I was doing that a couple weeks ago. I was going into like pharmacies, urgent care, asking questions, you know.
The pharmacies are so lame. They're like, well, you can't record. So like the video just goes nowhere so quick, because I've tried to do it before where I go in, I'm like, I'm going to get a flu shot. And they'd be like, well, you can't record. It's against our policy. I'm like, no. And then I've tried to take it a different direction. I'm like, no, like when I decide to get the shot, I won't record that, but I need to record this information because I have concerns, and they won't even allow me to do that. So it gets really lame, and we don't get anywhere.
I just don't ask.
Yeah. I need well, they see it though, you know. It's like I need like a hidden camera, or a better way to disguise how I'm recording. That's
true. I got caught on one, but you're also, you know, I don't know. It's easier for women. I think we got our purses, we got all of our stuff,
right?
You know? And then for you, you'd just literally be there with your phone.
Right.
So, or have Lauren do that off to the side. Yeah. Well, yeah. Anything else, Chris?
No, I mean, I'm excited to just learn more from you. It's been, I mean, I'm so stoked that Tali actually introduced me to you, because your knowledge is far beyond. So I'm thankful for that, and I'm glad that you are woke. And hopefully, you know, some of the guys that see it, or wives may tell their husbands, or, you know, boyfriends, significant others to check you out too, because we need more. We need more.
Yeah,
we need
more.
Yeah. That's such a blessing to come across the guys that actually want to talk about these really uncomfortable topics, because it's been for a long time a lot of just women, you know. So
Sure. Well, I appreciate you guys so much, and thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it.
All right, take care. Tell Lauren we said hi.
I will. Bye-bye.
Bye.